You'll just be boring one day, like at 3 p.m. on a random afternoon, and then your phone will ring off, you know, and it'll be like the worst news of your life. Um, Life is really just, it'll just randomly attack you out of nowhere. Um, the older that I realize that, the more I realize that life is super unpredictable. Um, but yeah, we're back in the same area. It's our second recording session. Pretty excited. Really early again, another early one. But today I wanted to talk about like how basically how life rolls. How I come to think that life works as far as how things eventually roll out for you. So everyone goes through, highs and lows. Some highs are extremely high, some lows are really low. And it's frustrating, yeah. But what's important to realize when these high highs and low lows happen to you, even if it's something really good, is just, like when the low lows, for example, when the low lows happen, don't let it try to get to you too much. When the lows do happen, don't let your mind try to tell you, as easy as it is, and it's gonna try to tell you, but when really bad things happen, you should really focus that, I'd say that's when it's most important to realize that taking one thing a day at a time, like during those moments, that's when it's most important. Because if you don't, your mind's gonna tell you a bunch of delusions about how your life, doesn't actually, like, sometimes some people will say your life is worthless, or someone else's mind might say, I just can't take this anymore, or maybe you're something really, it's really hard not to think only of those things when it happens. And then those thoughts eventually lead into, this is always how it's going to be. But it's not. That's not how it's always going to be. You're not always, your life isn't about, it's not always going to be at that rock bottom, life is basically, a lot of the times, it's just in that middle section. It's in that middle section of the road where, you're just going through life, you're just going through the changes, and, get up, go to work, do your hobby, go to sleep. Just when those moments hit, really takes you by surprise. But as I was saying earlier, don't let the high highs also get to you, because then if you let those get to you, then when you do have your lows, it just hits you. It just hits you harder. It's kind of weird how highs and low lows have kind of like that similarity, where it kind of it wants to change your mind, in a not a good way. Specifically about like, what do you want to believe? So when high highs and low lows happen, just don't let it, change. Don't let it create a facade, basically. The second thing I wanted to talk with you guys is about how a lot of us have this image of life that's not the most true. When we were all children, we all had our really cool jobs we wanted to be. We all had the things that we wanted to do, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut, I want to go to, I want to go to Canada, or I want to go to Egypt, And then as you grow older, your curiosity gets killed off with, just the more boring parts of life a lot of times. But what I'm trying to say is life doesn't have to be great. It doesn't even have to be grand sometimes. It can be grand none of the time, and then your life is still completely, valid and awesome, almost just as much as if those things were happening to you. Um, Life itself is the value, not, what you're getting inside of life all the time. Yeah. It's really interesting because your vision on reality can get warped so heavily, so easily. Like, it doesn't take much more than even a couple seconds a lot of the time. That's one of the scary parts of our mind, is just the potential for emotion, more extreme emotions. It's those extreme emotions that a lot of the time can get us into trouble, such as, believing things that we shouldn't believe, like life is supposed to be grand, or my life is worthless now that this really bad thing happened to me. But I just want you guys to know that it's okay for your life to be quote unquote boring. It doesn't have to be, all that extra icing on the cake. You can find satisfaction. If you're not satisfied right now with life, you can find satisfaction in the little things still. It's just like, here's the weird thing about little things. It's just like, when you're so deep into your shit where you're just not even like thinking about anything about negative stuff, you quickly tune out like little things such as like, nature, or waking up in the morning, taking a shower, or like eating a tasty meal. Life goes by fast, and small things are really nice. It's not amazing. I think it's the smaller things in life that we all have access to is where the true grandness lies. If you want, to put it somewhere, you have to put it somewhere. But I think I'm going to leave you guys on that note. My question to you guys today is, I have it right here.